What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Gooner Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. It's another Eagle Eye episode where I talk about the transfer rumours surrounding Arsenal. Let's get this one started. This one kind of depressed me a little bit. It looks as though the player whose dream it was to come to Arsenal 2 years ago, the player who last week came out and said he'd favour a move to Arsenal, somehow Liverpool are now the favourites to sign Hakim Ziyech. And listen, I say somehow, they're the European champions. You know, they're a big club. They're a bigger club than Arsenal. And quite honestly, it wouldn't even surprise me if they're offering more money. They might be offering that Champions League dough, that Champions League carrot. You know, in a lot of ways, why would Ziyech go backwards from a team, we're a bigger club than Ajax, theoretically, and even that is a discussion because of Ajax's big history in major European competitions. You may even have to, you may not necessarily say that comfortably, but I guess from his perspective, he might be thinking, well, if I stay with the club, I'm in the Champions League. Or if I go to Liverpool, I'm in the Champions League. If I go to Arsenal, sure, it's a dream move. What else do I get out of it? And let's be real here. And it pains me to say this as an Arsenal fan. If I was a footballer and I was looking at two clubs, one of them is clearly on the up. And Arsenal, I don't know, they're not even treading water anymore. I don't know what they're doing. So from his perspective, I get it. I get it. Now, I'm saying all of this now because I know these are arguments that are going to be thrown in my face very, very shortly, or probably in the comments. But I'm still gutted. You guys know this, and if you don't already know this, Hakim Ziyech was the one person I wanted to come to the club. I know we need defenders. Don't get me wrong. Defenders are a priority. But if you had to ask me to be honest and say, irrespective of any factors, the fact that we need a defender, the fact that there isn't any money, irrespective of any factors, if Arsenal could sign one person, who would it be? It would be this guy. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I just think he's a wonderful player. And he's a player that actually likes the club and wants to play for the club. You would have thought it. Someone who potentially is let me not overblow it too tough, but someone who's potentially a superstar, someone who's potentially got some real world-class ability. And he actually wants to play for Arsenal. But we can't offer him anything but for the Europa League. And a talent like that should not be a Europa League player. It would be weird. I know this. Once again, like I said yesterday, I'm a reasonable man. But maybe I was hoping beyond hope that Arsenal could somehow, because no one's talking about that Ziyech deal, that Arsenal are on the case and they're somehow closing that out. But it looks like we are about to lose out to Liverpool for Hakim Ziyech. Remember, a player who has said on at least 2 occasions he would like to join us. And people wonder why I get frustrated with the self-sufficient model, honestly. It's not even like he'd be that crazy of an amount. At least with Pepe, I get it. I was dreaming. But with this was doable. It was doable. Anyway, we're not think about it too much. I'm hoping I'm wrong. It is, to be fair, there's nothing else tying the story other than the fact that bookmakers have made them favourites. But bookmakers usually cling on to some sort of news that we haven't already heard of before. They must have got whiff of something, and that's why all of a sudden they've been installed as favourites. That can change. That can certainly change. but it's not looking good. If you were like me and holding on hope that we would sign Hakim Ziyech, it's not looking great. The only thing I would say is Arsenal are joint second favourites. That's right, joint second favourites, along with Bayern Munich. We're both 5-1 to get him. Liverpool are 4-1 to get him. But yeah, there you go. Let's talk about the next story. So, an interesting story came up. Social media plays a lot of parts when it comes to transfer rumors generally. Social media is such a powerful tool. Whether people like it or not, Twitter not being a favorite of mine or a lot of people's just because of how aggressive people are on there. But it does play a lot. And I can't lie to you, it's not my first port of call, but it is something that I have seen before, whereby I've checked out whenever I had to look at transfer rumors. I do give it a peek. And one of the things that some eagle-eyed people noticed was Marcus Sherbert. Remember the goalkeeper that I talked to you about from Dresden? He played for Dresden last year. Supposed to be the next big thing. Like, he's supposed to be a real hot shit goalkeeper, right? So much so that him and Leno are currently vying for that kind of number one spot, particularly with Neuer slipping so bad. There's an opportunity for someone like a Leno and potentially someone like a Sherbert to come in and really stamp their authority. Well, as with most footballers, they have a partner. And in this particular case, Marcus Sherbert has a girlfriend. This girlfriend, randomly, is wearing an Arsenal shirt. Now, it was last season's Arsenal shirt, because like I said to you yesterday, it's not like, Adidas are going to give Marcus Sherbert's girlfriend an Arsenal shirt, but it is an Arsenal shirt. And people are kind of like, well, I thought you were going to Schalke. Where's that come from? More importantly, where is she taking that picture? But yeah, it was an intriguing photo on her Instagram. And it's kind of made people think, Like I said to you yesterday, people, don't be surprised if there are people that have actually signed. And, in this particular case, he's a free signing. If there's one thing Arsenal can freaking do, surely, is get a free signing done and over the line. So it would not be a surprise if this has been done. But I just thought I would let you know. Marcus Sherbert, his girlfriend, has taken a picture in the Arsenal top. Let's talk about next story. It seems like Arsenal are always linked with 18-year-olds for some reason. And here is the latest 18-year-old that we're being linked with. A Nancy striker. I don't know why I struggle saying Nancy all of a sudden. Nancy striker, Belal Hassani. It looks as though he is the new 18-year-old teenager that we are looking at. He plays for the France's under-17s. And a lot of big clubs are after him. When I say big clubs are having a close look at him, I mean big clubs. Man City, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Valencia are all very interested in this player. Don't know shit about him. Ain't even going to try and bullshit you or blag my way through this. I know he's a striker. I know he supposedly has very good technical ability, decent pace on him, decent shot on him. Doesn't even say his goal scorer record in this particular report, which I was expecting. But let's be real here. It looks like we're losing out to Liverpool for a player that actually wants to join Arsenal. I don't expect Arsenal to win this race, but it seems like any 18-year-old with a little bit of talent, Arsenal are going to be linked with, because when we're shopping in a completely different market. But yeah, supposedly we are interested in Belal Hassani with Man City, Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid showing interest. So we'll see what happens. The only 18-year-old that I've seen us be linked with that I'm pretty interested in us getting is Saliba. Supposedly, apparently, the midfielder, the Belgian midfielder that we were linked with yesterday, is supposed to be really good, like really, really good. The Red Bull midfielder. I'm not going to butcher his second name, but you know who I'm talking about. He's supposed to be really, really good. The striker again is another one that apparently is supposed to be really, really good. Saliba again is another one. Let's be honest, who's supposed to be really, really good. But at least he's a defender who I could see the logic to that one. But who knows? Who knows with Arsenal? Who knows? So I'm just talking to you about transfer rumours. This is all I'm doing. Is talking about transfer rumours. Is there anything else that I want to talk to you about today, real quick, before I check out the chat room? So yeah, I was going to talk to you about the story yesterday. I might as well mention it today. This is a story about PSG. They may actually be looking to sell their central defender. Now, I'm going to be real with you. This Prenzel Kim Belly or Kemp Belly. The name I can't say apparently. I don't see this deal coming off. I think this is just going to be one of those players that Emery likes. That doesn't come off because ultimately it's 30 million. How many 30 million central defenders are we going to supposedly buy? Yeah, Emery supposedly wants Samuel Umtiti. He wants Saliba, who's 25 million. He wants this guy. He wants that guy. He wants Izzo. It's like, right, don't get me wrong. We need defenders, but we also don't have endless cash. I think this guy's good. I think he's probably like fourth choice on the list of what we want. And sometimes, quite honestly, the club will put out stories when, as a part of a negotiation tactic. Don't be surprised if Arsenal put this story out there because they're in the middle of negotiating contracts with or terms with Saliba's people and Isso's people. So as a way to say, listen, we don't have to turn to you. We've got this option. It's a good bargaining tool. Clubs do that shit all the time. But yeah, supposedly Ajax. So yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So obviously, because PSG are favourites to sign De Ligt, which is unbelievable in a lot of ways. So all the clubs that are being linked with them is considered going to PSG. And PSG are favourites to get him. So subsequently, if they do, it makes Kimpbelly surplus to requirements. And also Kimpbelly was blamed for, and I remember that game against Man United. You know, when Man United came back against PSG, he was blamed for that, and they felt that it was his fault. So PSG would be open to offers. I still think, in spite of that capitulation, everybody has bad games. He doesn't become a bad player because of one game. But I will say, I said this yesterday, for me, if it was up to me, I would bring in two central defenders. One of them will be Saliba. One of them would be Itzo. This Itzo guy is going to be real good. You watch. If we get him, he'll be so good. So yeah. Who else? I'm going to talk about this last story real quick, just because I haven't spoke about this story before. And that is Lauren Koscielny. It looks like Lauren Koscielny is considering an offer from Lyon. How do I feel about that? I'm happy. I did say for a long time on this particular channel that in spite of all the clubs that would be linked with him, at one point Atletico Madrid was linked with him, Bayern Munich was linked with him, Borussia Dortmund. I kept saying, don't be surprised if Lauren Koscielny plays the last of his playing days in France. And it's looking like, it's not certain, but it's looking like we are edging towards that direction. Leon have offered him a 2-year contract. Obviously, lots of people subsequently, as a result, are trying to think of ways for that to benefit us, whether that's involving him in a potential deal that involves Dembele, or maybe something that involves Fekir. For me, I think it's a good move. It's a positive move. I've said it from day dot. I'd let go of both Mustafi and Koscielny in the same window. I just think it's time to refresh that entire back line. And I think if that involves getting rid of those two, who Koscielny, I think, is clearly the better player out of the two, but they both have always been, throughout their careers, error-prone. And I think if you could find a way to improve that defense by removing some of that error-proneness and putting them with some decent defenders. Yeah, I know Itzo sometimes is prone to an error or two here or there. But I'll tell you what, his all-round game is so good. Honestly, I'm highly recommending this guy. He's very, very good. Very, very good. I think it'd be a really good buy. And especially because for some reason, I don't think he'll cost that much. So I think because he won't cost that much as well, we can get real value for money if we're smart about our negotiation. Because from my understanding, Torino are not asking for crazy money. So I think we just need to just manage that situation well, and we can get a real good player on our hands. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If there's anyone listening to me on a Friday night, rabbit on, I'll just go with the Lee story again. Liverpool have been installed as favourites to buy Hakim Ziyech. And yeah, I'm a little bit gutted, I'll be honest. I'm a little bit gutted. But it's all about perspective. You know, like I said to you yesterday, we're nowhere near the 1st of July. For all I know, Arsenal have been in negotiation for weeks over Hakim Ziyech. Because I do find it weird that just things, for such a big player with a relatively cheap price tag, there's not really been that much action that's kind of gone on around him. You think with that release clause, everybody would be going for him. He is also currently playing in the African League of Nations as well. It's important to keep that in mind. He's tearing that up. So I think for me, if we can make some sort of play for him, I don't think he's a winger. I think he's an excellent winger, but I think long term, he kind of reminds me of when Santi came on board. And I was calling for ages that Santi should play in the middle. I didn't think Santi could play that deep, which was the number 8, which is what he took up in the end. I was calling for him to play as a number 10 for ages, but it fit like a glove. And I think Ziyech will be something similar. I don't necessarily think he'll be a number 8, but he'll be damn sure more effective than our current number 10. So yeah, for me, Hakim Ziyech, if we could still make a play for him, I would love us to, but I'm not hopeful. I'm really not hopeful. Let me just go into the chat real quick and say hello, because usually VP pops in and pops out. Please don't forget to crush that like button for me. You know I appreciate it when you guys do that. There's only 12 likes here. Come on, people. That like button for me. Chig, Lucas for access or Yannick Carrasco? Oh, that is a good question. I'm going to go for Lucas Vasquez. I appreciate hard work over talent, because the only problem with Carrasco is that talent goes missing on the odd occasion. It does. That's why, if you notice, I've not been amazingly high over Yannick Carrasco. I hate Paul now. I always have. Itzo and Saliba probs the most likely centre-back signings. If they are, I'd be very happy with it. Cos leaving before Mustafi. It's a joke. I know, right? Gosh. Anyhow, Mustafi's still at the club. Please. Please. Come on. I think we'll sign Isso. British media ain't talking about him. Yeah. I don't think so either. What's up, Chick? Who do you think Arsenal will reveal on the 1st of July? I got a feeling it will be Saliba or someone like that. Someone that they can model the club for years and years and years on. Probably Saliba and the new goalkeeper, I would say. Probably be two young signings that they can kind of show off. Big up to VP, Jewel watching me and Lee. Thank you for the 2 donations. Appreciate it, brother. So is it me or does everyone seem to row with Mike Hadge every time there's a chat? All right, let's go down. Always see people referring to Mike. I'm like, oh no, what's he done now? VP, am I watching UFC tomorrow? Probably. Not doing a review or a preview or anything. I never do one for those little shows. Probably. Saliba's talented, but it needs to be polished. One for the future, but don't have high hopes or expectations. For me, I'm quietly hopeful about Saliba. I like the look of him. I'm going to try and pretend like I knew a lot about him before we were linked with him, but everything I've seen out of him suggests that there is more than something there. More than something there. So I would say, let's watch this space. Chelsea is in a team of the year statistically. Yeah, he's in one team of the year though. I saw you watch Tom's show. He's in one team of the year. He's in what did he say? The whoscored.com. But listen, I told you this a week ago that he was a good goal defender. I said a week ago that people class him as the best defender in Serie A outside of Koulibaly. I'm not necessarily saying that, but he's a very, very, very good defender. And the one thing Italian leagues produce is good defenders. Yannick Carrasco is cheaper option. I love Santi. Sadie was injured. Yeah, Santi is my favorite player of the last 10 years. Yannick Carrasco, I don't know if he's the cheaper option. He's 30 million as well. Don't know about that. I just added to the likes. Thank you. Although there's only 17, there's 36 people watching on a Friday night, where I know Lee's also doing a live show. So thank you to the 36 that are still with me. Albert Marino for Arsenal, God forbid. The media, especially the fucking the Sun, sophisticated. Okay. Imagine if they reveal the goalkeeper. That would be cruel. I think they'd be setting that goalkeeper up for a fall if he was to be revealed as the only signing. Don't worry, Chick. We still haven't signed anyone yet either. I don't know. What do you think of Uber's Insta regarding art? Do you know what, Iffy? I'm going to be honest. It's a little bit controversial. I wasn't going to talk about this, but fuck it. Let's talk about it. So for those of people who don't know, a.f.c. do a show with Ty and Claude. And on their Insta, you can obviously break things up into clips, usually done to hype up, the show, so you can watch the full show. And on this particular clip, they kind of did it in such a way whereby just before Claude and Ty are actually talking, you see them say, what did the fucking post say? It said, Emre is just the boy's puppet or some shit like that, right? And Aubameyang liked the post. Now, I will say this. Aubameyang tends to like most of the AFTV's posts. And it would not surprise me, as stupid as this sounds, it would not surprise me if this guy didn't even think about it. Just press like for the sake of like and not necessarily understanding what he was liking. I know that sounds stupid. I know that sounds like I'm making excuses for him, but that's my gut feeling. I don't even think he was really paying attention. And then before he knew it, he just started causing a shitstorm. By the way, funnily enough, me and Lee were going back and forth. And Lee texts me and goes to me, I bet this becomes a big story tomorrow. Maybe an hour and a half later, I saw it in the Metro. I said to Lee, when you're right, you're right. I don't think he meant it like that. I don't think he was even paying attention. Just like, don't be surprised if that turns out to be the case. Would you sign Gaya from Valencia? I'll be real with you. I don't remember who that is. I don't remember who that is. I'm just being honest. Where is the 90 million from Lamar's bid on Tafanga? Answer ants, please. I actually don't know. You tell me. You tell me. Lamar was another one I really wanted, but fair play. Where the fuck is he now? $40 people watching, 20 likes. Come on, guys. Please, please, please hit that like button. I know I annoy you whenever I say it, but it really does get people noticing the show if you do it. The money went to Aubameyang. Well, yeah, you got to admit it did. They did spend a substantial amount. But you could tell that Stan Kroenke has got a pass from a lot of fans because of the fact that he spent money on Lacazette and Aubameyang. Okay, cool. What about on the positions we're actually leading now? I mean, is there any rumor to that? What rumor to what? Thinking that he's a puppet? Just don't be surprised if you didn't even pay attention, mate. That's all I could say. It would not surprise me at all. We sold players that season too. Okay. Only at Arsenal, PLC money. Disappointing to hear no longer a.f.c. Yeah, but that's the way of football. I hate to break it to you. Football is a business. It's a multi-billion-pound business, billion-dollar business. Yeah, football clubs on the stock market. You know, the romance of football, if you like, to a certain degree, has gone because there's so much money in football. He does have a release clause, but he's also said he's going to stay at Spurs. And he wouldn't be brave enough. He wouldn't not be brave enough to do a soul. No chance. He wouldn't be brave enough. Blimey, Claude is on live too. Well, they're both friends of the show, so check them out after you check me out. And after you've given a like to the show. All right, guys. Literally 4 more minutes and I'm out. So if you have any questions, please hit me up. Would I sign Idris Gay from Everton? Would I sign Idris Gay from Everton? I really like him. Always have done. 3 years ago, I suggested him as a signing. He's 29 years old now, I believe. Guess it depends if Torreira wants to go. The one thing that's pretty intriguing about the Torreira situation is, We've not heard the club deny it. We've not heard him deny it. So it'd be interesting to see where that goes. It's probable that he's on holiday and isn't concerned with, or quite frankly, isn't in touch with what is being said in Europe. But yeah, if he wants to go, we need a replacement, and he's a very good one. Would I sign Pereira from Watford? No, not for me. Not for me. He was in my fantasy football team for a minute as well. And he just fell the fuck off. But no, that's not the reason. I don't particularly rate him. Stephen Bellwing. Yes, Chelsea. That's the PSV winger that Chelsea just brought up. Excellent player. Excellent player. Super fast, super rapid, goals for fun. And I have seen Arsenal link with him once. Would I, from the way Lee broke the transfer made, do you think we can afford a single player for 40 mil? Well, I think ultimately it depends if you think transfer deals are done like that. Lee says that they're done exclusively like that. I'm not as convinced. I think some are, for sure, but I don't think all of them are done in installments that way. I think it depends on the value of the player. I think it depends on a lot, quite honestly. The contract, it depends on the negotiations. It depends on everything. Do I think we have more than 40 million? I don't know. I'll be honest. I remember people were talking about the fact that they denied that Arsenal only had 50 million to spend, and they point to the fact that we spent 70 million last summer, so papers were talking shit. What people forget is that we also made sales that actually brought up our, and I hate to say the phrase, but net spend to 50 million. So papers were right. But that's, again, if you believe deals are done by buying people all right rather than using installments. So I don't know. It really depends on the way you want to look at it. I think what is perhaps more of a concern to me is shifting players. You know, are we doing everything we can to shift Mesut Ozil? Are we doing everything we can to shift Skodja Mustafi? Are we doing everything we can to shift Mkhitaryan? Because I worry about that. You know, I saw one article today talk about the fact that Arsenal have done amazingly well and managed to shift 400,000 off their wage book already through sales of Ospina, and then obviously the contracts and people we've subsequently let go, like Welbeck, Ramsey, Cech, etc., etc., etc. And for me, there's still opportunity to save another £640,000 at least. I don't think we'll let Granit Xhaka go. Starting to see more and more fucking stories, and they are concerning that Granit Xhaka is being considered to be Arsenal captain, the same geezer that wanted to leave like 2 minutes ago. Bit worried about that because I think it'll make it harder to get rid of him next year. But yeah, I'm bamboozled by that. But Emery's going to have to make some big calls, and you know he's going to have to die on a couple of swords. And if this is the bet he wants to make, if that's the sword that he wants to die on, if that's the hill he wants to die on, so be it. I don't know. Granit Xhaka as captain don't make me feel comfortable at all. But it is what it is. Sorry, I see you guys have dropped some questions since. Let me just go into that. Let's sign Pereira from Watford. What happened to us and Christian Pavon? Christian Pavon's gone to the America. He's gone to MLS, which I know surprises everyone, but he's gone to MLS. Have you seen Kostic or Gavanik from Frankfurt play? Both are rapid winners, good end products. I've heard of Kostic. I've never heard of Gakunik or that geezer. I think 65 million will gain, and we will gain 35 million from signing players. That's 100 million. All right, you got big expectations. Chig, if I'm the first one, if on the first no one is signed, will Pastor Chig make a return? Well, quite honestly, very possibly. Where I'm urging someone like Stan Kroenke to spend some freaking money. Yeah, very possibly. Didn't really think about it until now, but yeah, I suppose so. Mike, honestly, I don't trust Emre with signing his own players. Yeah, but Chelsea, why? It seems like you base this judgment off the fact that he's not performed well with Wenger's players. So surely he'd do better with his own players that he trusts. I don't get that. I know you're having a discussion with Mike, but I've got to chime in there. Henry at OSG turn, okay, PSG. Wouldn't renew Nacho's contract. I would, so I could sell him for more. Hi, Chig, I love your show. Thanks for the insight and analysis into Arsenal transfers and players. No problem, brother. You're welcome. Is that Tobogo 84? No. Oh my days. For heck's sake, he ain't good enough to be captain. I know you're telling me, Effie, you're telling me. No point spending big on big potential. I must admit, I'm kind of with you on that, Ramon. I know a lot of people have some high hopes for this Red Bull midfielder. And I said this the very first time it came up. We have Smith Rowe, who also has some big hopes as far as I'm concerned. So it's like, if we're going to spunk our money on 18-year-olds, we've have 18-year-olds. We have 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds that are looking for games. So I'm not sure what the strategy is at the moment. Damn, we're looking doomed next season. I keep saying in the DS, need a Alice Sakiri guy so under the radar. I think Pavel went to MLS. I'm very sure if Pavon hasn't gone, he was about to go. Let me see, because I want to prove a point. I'm almost certain. Me and transfers, you can't fuck with it. So if you're sure, maybe that deal hasn't gone through, but the last time I checked, that deal was about to go through. Let me see, because I remember thinking, Christian Pavon to MLS. Yeah, that was to LA Galaxy, but I don't know if it went through, to be fair. Hold on. See, now you got me worried. I'm checking. Yeah, and the last story was 12th of June. Yeah, Argentina-based star Galaxy. I guess that would be to replace Almiron, the person that joined from Newcastle. But was he from LA Galaxy? No, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But yeah, it was linked with the story. It was linked with the move. Laka is the captain. I hope so. I hope so. Okay. What do you think of getting Ashley Young? Hell no. Now, I went through a very brief period where I wanted Ashley Young. Particularly when he played for Watford. And then something happened just before he left Villa. And he didn't seem like the same player, and has never really seemed like the same player at United. Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. And it's time for us to stop having flipping Man United cast-offs. Must be laughing at us. So we've done it for years with Sylvester, Welbeck, Mkhitaryan. It's like, let's calm down. Typical Arsenal players fucking up on and off the pitch. I swear they hate us fans. But the board hate us, to be honest. He's in a coaching role for a reason. It's hard to watch both you and Lee at the same time. I think after the 2006 UCL final, that's when the downfall started. We're tired of scraps, yeah? We are tired of scraps, but that's what we're living off at the moment. That's what we're feeding off at the moment. Until the old man decides he wants to sell up, this is just what we have to do. I know people don't like to hear that. They don't want to hear that. Well, Arsenal are a self-sufficient club, purely, only, and simply. And from our point of view, we will lose out on big players like Hakim Ziyech, a player who would love to come to us, for the sake of losing him. And it's a shame. It is a shame because I do think he would have made a really big impact in our team. And especially because all I see from people is, oh, we should bench Ozil, we should do this, we should do that. That, to me, is the perfect player to replace him with if you decide to bench him or freeze him out or whatever. At this point, I just wish Ozil would have the dignity to just get up and go, demand less, or at least allow the club to pay some of your wages back off and just go quietly into the night. That's just me speaking out loud. Yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, I could feel myself rabbiting, so let me get out of it. If you guys have liked this video, please do crush that like button. Not nearly enough likes on this thing. You know I like to get people noticing. At least the people that are here watching it now, at least get me through 35. That ain't asking too much, is it? 35. And then for you guys listening on the playback, I'm hoping I'm through 100. If I'm not, help me get there. Help me get there. But yes, do genuinely crush this like button. And I'll be back tomorrow, back to my pre-recorded stuff. And yeah, I hope you guys like that and enjoy that. I'm out of it for now. Take care. Thank you for the donations. I'm out. Peace.